I have good news, and I have bad news. The good news is we are finally on 1.19. It's been a long time coming, but I've also been waiting for a couple of my mods to be updated, including Better F3, which is a new one. I get some fancy new F3 menus, which is pretty nice. The bad news is it is nighttime, so we're gonna go to sleep. Much better. Other good news, I've done a little bit of work inside my house. If you remember from a couple of episodes prior, these stairs were here, somewhere. They were on this side. I've gone ahead and flipped that over because I've finally moved all of my storage up here. It used to be down in the basement in the dark and dingy place, but now it's all finally up here. I have a little bit more room to kind of expand into. So this side is all my different items, so, you know, dye, tools, mob drops, all that fun stuff, and then this side over here is all blocks. And now that we are on 1.19, I've saved myself some room here for the new blocks. Plus we've got this empty space to fill out as well, but yeah, don't know quite what I'm gonna do there. Also, I built a stairway up to the top, and yeah, it's just empty up here for now, but we'll fill it out with something eventually. There used to be a balcony over here on the second floor. I've ripped that out, and I couldn't really think of a good way to lay this whole place out, so I just decided to put storage in here, get rid of the balcony. So the only real access to this area now is through the front door, so I'm okay with that. I never really used the balcony to begin with, and yeah, it's not hard to go up the stairs to get into the second or even the third floor for that matter. So what else is new? Well, last episode we got ourselves a beacon, and I went ahead and set that up right here. If we fall on down carefully now, don't want to die. Woo, okay, there we go. We are down here in the depths. We're at the transition between deep slate and stone, or stone and deep slate. Around Y0, I think. Yeah, Y0. And I've just been mining out a whole bunch of the deep slate because we're using it up like crazy. So I've just got my haste beacon set up so I can just go all the way through here, get all the deep slate and other resources that I might need. And if we head on back up, last episode we completed this wall. It's looking phenomenal and it's working just as well. Working just as well as it looks, keeping all these guys at bay, keeping me safe on the other side. And also last episode we built this greenhouse, which has been working away flawlessly. If we pop on inside here, we'll take a look. Woo! That's a lot of honeycomb. I actually wasn't expecting that, so let's move all that over. We can finally get started making some candles and waxing up all of our different copper blocks that we need to. When we need to, I should say. I haven't really needed to use any of it yet because we're really only using the oxidized copper variant. I have to apologize. There is something I forgot to do last episode once we were all done with the bee farm, and that is mark it off on our adventure board. So let's take our little glow ink sack and go boop, there, all done. Now I think I'll have to move this before we finish the remaining 4 things on here, just so that we can clear it out of this area and make this look all nice and clean. Some of the things on here are actually going to take a bit of time, especially this one and, well, kind of this one. This one just says find an ocean monument, but I do know where one is. Hello. I do know where one is, but I want to turn it into like a big thing. So that will be down the road. That sign, maybe we could mark that sign off. Let's mark it off. I know where it is. It's over this way. I'll show you. It's this way. So if you just head east a little bit from our base, right here in this ocean is the monument. And I'm not going to do anything with it this episode. Probably. We'll see. But yeah, we know where it is, so we can mark it off the board. Boop. Found ya. However, something that we are going to do today is we're going to get started on moving the trading hall. Currently, as you may well know, it is sort of underneath our iron breeder farm here. If we just fall down this little pipe, this is where all of my villagers are. This is where the iron golems go to give me their iron. And yeah, it's nothing pretty down here. It's just something functional for now to help me get started in this world. So I want to make something that is really nice for them, or really nice for me in an aesthetic and a functional sense. And a couple of episodes ago, I had mentioned something about this here hole in the wall. I still want to use this, and I have a plan for today's episode. We're going to get started on a villager crypt, the trading hall crypt. I don't have a formal name for it, but I'm excited, everyone. Oh, also, I started laying out some more copper here because digging that big old hole down there has given me quite a lot of copper. This is only a very, very small portion of what I have mined up. See, I've got another like 7 stacks in here, and I'm even smelting some down in the basement still too. So I think at some point we're going to have to build a bigger furnace smelting array, super smelter, whatever you call it, because I am just tearing through copper, and I'm tearing through lava, and it's just taking way too long. I have so much copper to go through. So yeah, I want to build a smelter that will kind of take care of all that for me. Anyway, here is the plan I have for the crypt. Now, initially, when I first explained my intentions for this area, I thought I was just going to kind of carve it out just a little bit more and then turn this whole kind of dip in the mountain into the hall itself. So, you know, station for villagers all the way around this sort of perimeter that's inside of here. But I've had a little bit of a change of heart. I have recently been inspired by a couple of other YouTubers, mainly BOO. Go watch his videos if you haven't. But he built underneath his base, I guess also a crypt. So I've taken a bit of inspiration from him and sort of the vibe that he created with his underground place there. And I want to try and do something like that for myself. So what do we need to do? First, we need to get a whole lot of stone, and we're going to get a whole lot of stone because instead of just kind of chipping away at the inside of this, we're going to go very deep. We're going to go deep. We're going to cut out a stairway right about here. We're going to go down 20-30 blocks or so, and then we're going to create a tunnel that's just going to go all the way this way for as long as I need it to go. And then I'm also going to kind of make this seem a little less floaty. So I'm going to finish the cliffside here, bring it all the way down to ground level, clean it up, make it look a little nicer, and then maybe we'll still have some room on the inside for something else. So you can still walk around in here and it's not just a cave. It's just where you've got room to walk around and you've got the stairway down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my beacon from way down yonder, bring it up, probably set it up around this area here, because it's just a little bit too far away for me to use my haste all the way inside here. We're just barely out of range. So I'm gonna bring it up, move it on over here, and then we're gonna start digging and building and digging and building. Whew. This is gonna take a lot of work. Alright, so I've dug out a big hole, and I've made a mob farm apparently. Let's get rid of that guy. I just needed to take a break from this for a minute. I've been digging for like forever, so just wanted to give you a progress update and give you a quick look at how it's coming along. have made quite a bit of progress, as you could see from that time lapse. We finished the cliffside here. I decided to cover up the hole that was in the side of the cliff here. I feel like tying it all together is going to make it feel a little bit more cohesive. Plus, I think it just looks a little cleaner, a little nicer. And so instead of having an opening here and like a staircase that just goes straight down, I decided to kind of create a little bit more chaos, I guess. So we have this cave opening over here on the right side, and you come on in, a little bit of an elevation change going down here. And then we have the entryway to the crypt. And we're not done yet. We're not done, but we're in a really good spot here to where I can at least show off the progress that we've made so far. So if we walk on in, you can kind of see the structure of everything here. Right now I have torches all over the place, and the floor is not quite done, and nothing's really decorated or anything. A quiet phone, silly. Nothing's really decorated just yet, but again, we have the foundation in place. We have the arches, we've got the style, and then we've got a big empty room over here that we'll have to work on later. However, at this point in time, I wanted to take a break from all of this. I've been working on it for what seems like an eternity, and I want to move on to something different for a little bit. Earlier, I had mentioned the incredible amount of copper that we have, and there's still quite a lot of it down in the basement here. And I've been letting all of this oxidize up here, and I think we're in need of a better smelter. So I'm going to collect up all of this copper here that I've laid out that's oxidized already, and come up with a design or a building for a super smelter. And I'm not quite sure where I want to put it just yet, but maybe I'll find like an open space over here, or maybe we'll move over into the area that's over on this side of the wall that we built last episode. So let me get a few things together. We'll get some furnaces all made up and everything, and we'll build ourselves a super smelter. All right, so I've got a couple of goodies here ready for the build, and I decided I want to put the super smelter kind of in this area here. So I'm just going to level out some of the ground here and take out a couple of these trees so I've got a little bit more room to work in, and we'll get started with the build. It's a good thing we're starting to work on our villager trading hall moving project, because we're getting some more escaped villagers. I think our other guy is still, yep, he's still up there. And then I heard this guy just chilling in the water over here. So they're all starting to escape. Anyway, I've cleared a space here for the super smelter, and yeah, the reason why I put it here and not, like, say, over on the other side of the wall was because I want this area, this whole area, to feel like a village. And with getting buildings spread out all over the place, it's not feeling as tight as I hoped it would be. So I'm going to start sprinkling in some more buildings that are relatively close to our home base right over here. And so we'll sprawl out this way and that way and all sorts of different directions, but I want to get a couple of buildings that are still kind of tight together. And so I think this spot here, outlined by my little dirt triangles, are a good spot for it. So let's get a couple of these blocks laid down, and we'll get going. Okay, so we have the guts of the thing built. It doesn't look pretty at all yet, but again, I'm just getting the functionality of it in place, and then we'll build a frame or a shell around it once we're all done. So here's how it works. In this top chest is the items that you would put in that you want to have smelted. In our case, that's probably going to be copper. And then in this chest is where we're going to put in our fuel. So if we stick this in here, yeah, you'll notice it's draining pretty quickly, and that's because we have a, well, you can't really see it, but there's a hopper minecart right underneath, right here, right? You can see it right there. And that's pulling items out of this chest, and then when we flick this lever, It's going to dispense all of the fuel and all of the blocks to be smelted into this furnace. And we're not smelting a hopper, so we'll take that out of there. But on top of this being a smelter, you may have noticed that we put a couple of bamboo back here. And so I want to get rid of the mess that I have growing over here. This has just been temporary so that I can collect a surplus of bamboo. But yeah, we have it growing up in here now. And then as soon as it reaches a certain height, those pistons will push them over and they will fall into the water stream over here, where they will then be sent up into that hopper and into this chest. So, 2-in-1 farms, and also, if we take a look at our adventure board over here, you'll notice one of these signs is a bamboo farm. So, it's not an amazing or a super large farm, but it is a bamboo farm, and it will work automatically. I don't have to harvest this manually anymore, so I'll be able to check that off, and then we'll really only have one other thing on here to do, and that's the sugarcane farm. But I want to make a big farm for that over at the creeper farm. That way we're kind of getting the sugarcane and the gunpowder all in the same place. So until we do that, we have this one is done, this one's being worked on, and we have one left to do. So we are almost all done with this wall here. Well, I grabbed all of my copper ore, and in order for me to smelt this efficiently, I'm going to turn it into raw copper ore. So I'm just going to start pillaring up here and see how much we can get from like 7 stacks. I can't count. So all in all, we've got ourselves over a full chest full of raw copper. It looks a little empty, but there's some actually in this minecart here already from that chest. So yeah, a full chest full out of just 8 stacks. That's wild. Well, now that we're all loaded up, let's go ahead and turn this on and see how fast this goes. I know bamboo's not the most efficient forms of fuel, so I'm not sure how long this will sustain on its own, because our bamboo farm's not exactly the most efficient farm, but yeah, it's working. We're getting ourselves some copper, and we're done. Okay. I'm down in the basement now because a couple of episodes ago I set this furnace array up, and it smelted through a whole bunch of copper. I took what was in here out and turned it into blocks already, but I mentioned something about a lot of XP, so I'm already at level 51, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be getting a ton of XP out of this thing, but I did want to show on camera how much I got. I'm sort of in for a disappointment, I feel, but let's just take out let's take out the copper we have here and see how many levels we get from each of these furnaces. So we're at 51. Oh, okay, we went up 3 levels. That's actually more than I was expecting it to be. So let's keep doing this. 57, 59, and I'm gonna guess 61. Ah, yep, 61 levels. All right, well, I can finally rip this thing out now, and then our basement is essentially empty, other than the lava farm that I have over here. That's still running. I still use it when I need the lava. But, yeah, everything else is moved elsewhere. We can kind of condemn this place now, I guess. Well, I started putting a bit of a shell around the Super Smelter. I just started. It's just kind of the layout. I don't even know if these are exactly the blocks I'm going to use or if it's the design scheme that I want to use. The only thing I do know is that I want it, again, to follow the same sort of aesthetic that we have set up with our main base, with our sheep farm, with the greenhouse, kind of everything that we're building in this area. Everything is cohesive. That's the goal anyway. I'm very excited about the future of this project here. We're making some really good progress. I have an inventory full of stuff that I'm going to add in here, but I'm going to save that for next episode. A lot of big things are happening, everybody, so thanks for sticking around, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.